वो नहीं चलेगा सर उसमें।
देखना पड़ेगा। ठीक है। Good morning to all of you. One more session with you on research design. Please come forward, please. आगे आइए भैया, बहुत पीछे बैठे हुए, शायद आवाज तक नहीं जाए। Please come. थोड़ा सा आगे आ गए, पूरी सीट्स Okay. So the topic of this session is research design, and I am Dr. Akhlaq from the Department of Education, Integral University, Lucknow. We have learned about the objectives, hypothesis, review of related literature in the research, and I think we have learned a lot about the research, especially in your field, in your discipline. But research design is called the heart of the research, by which we achieve our objectives of the research, especially in your discipline or in your in your subject. It plays a vital role to achieve the objectives of the research. We all know that we must plan our research, we must design the procedures, including all steps of the research, like determining your objectives, formulating your hypothesis, sampling procedures, research tool, data collection, by which method you will conduct your data, analysis of data, interpretation, discussion, findings, educational implications or implications of your research in the real field. So this all includes the research design. It means it is a blueprint. So the meaning of research design is it is a blueprint of the detailed procedures of testing the hypothesis, collection and analysis of the data, so as to combine the relevance of the research purpose with economy in the procedure. It is a sequence of steps carried out before the designing the actual research to ensure that the relevant and appropriate data will be collected. This preparation permits objective analysis of the hypothesis formulated in correspondence to the research problem. It includes all your steps, all your procedures, step by step, which you will conduct or which is helpful in conducting your research. From determine your objectives, how you achieve, and related to the process like collection of the data or collection of the relevant informations related to your research, which tool you will be used for the data collections or for the collections of informations, how you analyze, how you test your hypothesis. This all includes in the research design. So it is called the blueprint of the research design, or all the procedures of your research. All the steps like planning of your research and all the steps in the planning related to the research design. It is more important to determine or finalizing your objectives, because it is the center, or it is the main aims of your research which you want to achieve. And for this purpose, you formulate your hypothesis, you review your literature related to your topic or related to your subjects, not subject, related to your topics especially. And after reviewing the related literature, you design your own research procedure. It may differ from one to another. It may vary from one subject to another subject. It may differ from field to field, especially like English, like literature and engineering, education, agriculture. Your procedure will be different. But steps involving in design more or less same. Okay, so the research design enables the researcher in testing the hypothesis by arriving at valid and objective inferences regarding the relationship between independent and dependent variables. It means in research design, we see the relationship of independent and dependent variables. It is the conceptual structure within which research is conducted and is an outline of what the researcher will be beginning from writing the hypothesis. Its operational implications to the final analysis of the data. It means all the steps including your research design, like to see the relationship between the variables, or it is the outline of conducting your research from beginning to end, in which writing the hypothesis and operational implications. It is very important to know the operational definitions of the term which is used in your topic. The common meaning of variables is different, and the operational definition of the variables is different. So you must define operationally of the term which is used in your topic of the research. Like mental health, if you define the mental health normally, but you must operationally define the mental health, particularly for your research or particularly for your topic. and operational implications of the final analysis of the data. How you implement your findings in the real life situations or in the real life conditions. How you conduct your research. It is more important that the findings, the results, the conclusions will be implemented in the real life. आपने कोई रिसर्च किया, जो भी उसकी फाइंडिंग आई वो रियल लाइफ में यूज नहीं हो रही है, देयर इज नो मीनिंग. It is just the findings, you conclude your research and put in the almirah. So implications of your findings, implications of your result of the research is more important. It must be productive. It must be implemented. Questions बाद में होता है, जो भी आपके questions होंगे बाद बीच में प्लीज. And now the purpose of research design. Why we design our research? What is the need of the research design? What is the significance of the research design? So, research design answers the research questions objectively, validly, and economically by suggesting the researcher as to how to collect the data for the testing the hypothesis. Variables that should be made control variables and methods of the manipulations appropriate in the context of the current investigations. Type of statistical analysis to be followed and the possible answers to the research problems. Thus, it enables the researcher to systematically arrive at a valid and objective answers to the research questions. We all know that the research questions, we must answer the research questions which arise in your research. So the research questions objectively must be objective. Objective means it must be measurable, it must be feasible, okay, validly, and economically by suggesting the researcher. It means your research objective must be valid, must be economical, feasible, and how to collect the data. In research design, it is more important to know the how you collect the data or how you conduct your sampling. Because the research design includes especially formulate the hypothesis, first objective, determine the objectives, formulate the hypothesis, and sampling, collection of the data, research tools from which we will collect the data or the informations, and manipulations of the variables. Manipulations in independent variables is basically in experimental research. In experimental research, we manipulate in some independent variable and see the effect of that manipulations on the dependent variable. So it is very important to know how we manipulate in independent variable and how we see the effect of these manipulations on the dependent variable. And which type of statistical analysis will be done in your research. So these are the purpose of educational research. The most important thing is there are several types of research design, there are several types of research process. For your topic or for your research, which process is more suitable? Which process is more appropriate to achieve your objectives? Which method of sampling is appropriate for your research? Which tool is more appropriate to collect the data for your research especially? Because there are several tools available for the collection of the data. But particularly in your research, which tool is more appropriate from which you collect the data? Okay? Which tool? There are several tools for the data collections like questionnaire, open-air, schedule, interview, surveys, labs in which we do experiments. Okay, so which research tool is more appropriate for collection of the data for particularly your research? Particularly the nature of the research depends. Types of the research, there are several types, there are several natures of the research, which includes the different types of the data collection tools. Okay, so the purpose of educational research is the research questions objectively be handled, validly, and economically. Okay, and which type of research statistical analysis will be done for particularly your research. And now, a good and well-planned research design. It enhances the reliability of the produced, results produced, gives a strong foundations of the investigations. It helps researcher organize his or her own ideas, helps researcher critically evaluate the flaws and inadequacies in the process. It can be given to others for critical evaluations and a comprehensive review of the study. It means a well-planned research design enhances the reliability of the results produced. It means if your design is well-planned, good, it means the reliability of your findings will be increased. And reliability of the findings or reliability of the test is called the consistency of the scores or the consistency of the findings results. Okay, it gives a strong foundation to the investigations also. It gives a strong platform, theoretical knowledge for the conducting of your research. It helps organize his or her own ideas. It means a research design gives the platform to organize your ideas about a particular research. It gives freedom to think, organize, and implement your ideas about a particular field or about a particular research, about a particular topic, okay, in which we want to conduct our research. It gives a platform to think, to organize, and to implement our own idea about a particular topic. Okay? It helps critically evaluate and flaws. It gives a platform to analyze critically, to evaluate critically to the researcher. Because in review of related literature, we learn a lot about the procedure of research of the different researcher in your field or in your particular area of the research, and it gives the researcher to critically evaluate. Okay? And a well-planned research design can be given to the others for critical evaluation and comprehensive review of the study also. If we have a well-planned design for our research, it means you evaluate the other procedures related to your research or related to your problem and comprehensive review of the studies. We review a lot of research of the other persons which uh, which are related to your problem. It means we have a lot of knowledge, we have a lot of comprehension about your research or about your topic. So it gives the critical evaluation and comprehensive review of literature also. And these are the questions answered by the research design. First is topic under investigation. On which topic you are going to conduct your research? On which area or in which particular topic you are going to investigate? It depends on your imagination, it depends on your areas of working. So the topic is more important for your research design. There are several research designs on the same area, but your particular topic is more important for the investigations. And second one is purpose of the investigation. For which purpose you want to conduct your research? Purpose or the significance of your research. It must be relevant. It must be significant. And location for conducting the study. On which locations, in which lab you are going to conduct your research, or in which area you are going to conduct your research. Like in ethnographic research, do you know ethnographic research? It is particularly done for a particular area, particular community. To know the culture, to know the traditions of a particular society. So the location for conducting the research or study is more important. Okay? And type of the data required. Which type of the data you require for your research? Quantitative data or qualitative data or mixed? Which type of data, which type of information you need for your research? It is more important. Like if you want to survey, then the research design is different. And if you want to do the experimental research, then your research design is different. So the type of data required for your research is important for the research design. Okay, it varies from the type of research or the type of the data required for your research. Okay, and place for collecting the required data. Place is more important. Okay, so like if you want to survey on the class 9 students on mobile learning, then you conduct your research in urban and rural area also. But if you want to conduct this research in the remote area or in the especially any northeast region, then the place of the required data is different. So the place for collecting data is also important for research design. Time period for the study, we all know that the time period play important role, like 1 year, 2 year. We all know that special projects for the research is time bound. 2 years, 3 years, like JRF, SRF, there are time bound research projects, are the different types of the research is time bound. So time period for the study is also important. And the more important is sample design. How we sampling. What are the methods for your sampling? Especially for conducting the research, we are using the probability sampling and non-probability. Which type of sampling is required for your particular research? probability or non-probability. And there are several techniques in probability sampling and non-probability sampling also. So which sampling technique is more appropriate for your research? Which method of sampling is important, relevant for your research? Like if you are going to conduct a survey research, then probability method of sampling is more important. And which technique is used in the probability sampling? Like sample survey, sample random, or stratified, multi-field. There are several techniques also available in the probability sampling. So the sampling design is more important, and the number of samplings is also important. Which number? 400, 300, 200. It depends on the nature of the study. It depends on the nature of the research. Different methods of research require different numbers of sampling. Like in survey research, you may conduct your study on 300, 400, 500, thousands of the samples. But in experimental research, it is restricted, like 60, 100. And in experimental research in sciences, there are several techniques for choosing the number of samples. Okay? And techniques are the data collections. It is very important. By these techniques, you will conduct or you collect the data. Like if we are going to conduct a survey research, we have a questionnaire. We go to the classrooms and give the questionnaires to the students and collect the answer sheet or collect the questionnaires. And if you want to collect the data from the different cities, so Google form is required. There are several techniques from which we collect the data. Okay? And techniques of the data analysis, it is more important. From which techniques we analyze the data. And it's again related to your types of research, and it's again related to your objectives and hypotheses, which you have formulated previously. Like if you require the informations in percentage, then you just require to apply the numbers and the percentage. And if you are going to see the relationship, then you require to apply the different techniques of the relationship. Or if you are going to see the significant difference between the means or among the means, then there are several techniques. Parametric techniques and non-parametric techniques. Okay? This is a different area. Which techniques of data analysis you will use your research, and style of the report preparation. It also relates to the analysis of the data, interpretation of the data, and discussion of the data. It is written in the chapter 4 when we analyze the data and interpret the data in the required form or in the form of which we want to write out findings. Okay? And the last one is time and cost of the study. All research projects are time bound. They are given the amounts like 4, 3, like minor projects and major projects or special projects. So it depends on the cost of the study and time also. The time which you are given, 4 years, 3 years. Like this research, our PhD program is for 4 years. and if you require more time, then you will get the permissions from the authority. Okay. So these are the questions. And now the component of the research design. These are also related to the sampling design, like method of selecting items to be observed, method of selecting the numbers of the students or number of the individuals, number of the subjects which we want to observe, and observational design. It is also related to conduct our study under observations are to be made. This is related to especially ethnographic research, in which we observe, or in experimental research, in which we observe conditionally. And statistical design, how many items are to be observed, numbers, and how is the data to be collected and analyzed. This is called the statistical design. And operational design is, this is the technique for carrying out the sampling, statistical and observational design. Okay. And now the features of a good research design. What are the different features of a research design, good research design? Like minimize bias, there will be no bias, maximize reliability of the data collected and analyzed. We all know that the reliability of the data collection and analysis have maximum reliability. Do you know how we maximize our reliability in the data collections? Give smallest experimental error, but it is very difficult. Provides maximum information. It is also a part of design. Gives opportunity for viewing different aspects of the problem. Okay. Minimize bias. What does it mean? बायस को हम कैसे मिनिमाइज करेंगे? रेंडमाइजेशन से, और
Random sampling.
रैंडम सैंपलिंग, और
increasing the sample size.
increasing the sample size. Good. And how we maximize the reliability of the data collection?
By pilot testing.
By pilot testing, and
then after the pilot testing results, we again go back to the design and then tweak the design according to the results we got in the pilot design, and then propose the final design for the
it means according to your design or according to your pilot study. And anyone more?
Sir, if we conduct a pilot study and then we arrive at a conclusion and then we again rearrange the design, will it not be biased? Because we tend to manipulate the design in our own way, and in a way that will lead to the results which we are wanting to.
Yes, it may.
It will.
हो
It
सकता
will
है,
certainly.
ये हो सकता है, बिल्कुल हो सकता है. और कोई बताए? Especially the maximization of reliability of the data, it depends on the research tool. By which tool we are going to conduct the data collection. If your tool is reliable, then the data will be reliable. If your sampling technique is appropriate, your samples are true representative of your population, then your data will be reliable. Data reliability means the same scores after conducting the several times of experiment. It means if your tool is reliable from which we are going to conduct the data, and your sample are true representative of the population, then your data will be reliable. आपका जो सैंपल है वो रियल में अपने ग्रुप को सही रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा हो, ठीक है, लेकिन ये कहना और होना बहुत मुश्किल है. मैं एक एग्जांपल आपको बता रहा हूँ. You all are the Ph.D scholars of the different discipline. It means you are the representative of this group, and when I select 10 pupils or 10 students from this group, and I call that these students or these scholars are the true representative of their group, but you have your own knowledge, you are related to your own field, your own discipline, okay, then how we can say that you 10 pupils or you 10 scholars are the true representative of this group? Because there are 100 or 100 plus students in this group, and we select only 5 or 10 students, 10 scholars from this group, and we call that these 5 or 10 scholars are the true representative of this group. बहुत मुश्किल होता है. कहना आसान है कि आप जिन स्टूडेंट्स को सेलेक्ट कर रहे हैं एज ए रिप्रेजेंटेटिव, एज ए सैंपल, वो अपने ग्रुप को सही से रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं. एक एग्जांपल मैं और आपको बताता हूँ. If you want to conduct a study on 11th class or 12th class student, there are several boards: ICSC, CBSC, UP board, Sanskrit board, Madrasa board, okay? And when we place, कोई प्रॉब्लम है क्या पीछे?
सर वो अटेंडेंस शीट कभी कोई पास कर रहा है, लाइन से नहीं पास कर रहा है.
मिल जाएगी आपको अटेंडेंस शीट. ठीक, वैसे एक तरफ से पास करिए, सभी के सिग्नेचर रिक्वायर्ड है ना, मिल जाएगी आपको, उसके बाद में कर दीजिएगा कोई. So there are several boards of study like ICSC, CBSC, UP board, and others. And we want to select the students from Lamart only, or Jubilee Inter College only. Then how we can say that these students are the true representative of the class 9th or class 10th or class 12th?
No, it will not.
So कहना बहुत मुश्किल है, लेकिन रियल में सिलेक्ट करना रिप्रेजेंटेटिव सैंपल्स को थोड़ा सा मुश्किल है. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि इम्पॉसिबल है, लेकिन मुश्किल है. सो जब भी हम सैंपलिंग करें, बहुत सोच समझ के और ऐसे लोगों को लें, क्योंकि बेसिक कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स से सैंपलिंग की होती है कि दे आर द ट्रू रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ऑफ देयर.
So we have to understand the population basically.
Yes.
If it is a homogeneous population,
Yes.
then smaller size will also do. If it is heterogeneous, then we'll have to increase the larger.
But practically, it is very difficult to conduct this sampling on homogeneous group,
Yeah.
okay, or heterogeneous group. So, and gives the smallest experimental error. It means when we are going to conduct experimental research, then we have the less number of students, less number of the sampling, like 50, 100. It is very difficult to conduct this type of experiment or this type of study, especially in experimental research, and in which the numbers are less, and after replications of the experiments, the result will be same, because we are going to conduct on the human being, and the nature of human being is very complex. कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि मैं अभी जिस तरीके से आपके
रिएक्ट कर रहा हूँ,
आपके क्वेश्चंस को मैं जवाब दे रहा हूँ, मैं 2 दिन के बाद, 8 दिन के बाद, 1 महीने के बाद मैं वैसे ही रिस्पॉन्स करूँ. सेम कंडीशंस अप्लाई होती है स्पेशली जब बच्चों पे हम कंडक्ट करने के लिए जाते हैं अपनी स्टडी या हम एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिसर्च करते हैं। हम ये मानते हैं कि सारे बच्चे हमारे सिर्फ और सिर्फ हमारी बातों को सुन रहे हैं, मैं जो इंस्ट्रक्ट कर रहा हूँ केवल वो कर रहे हैं, लेकिन ये ह्यूमन बीइंग के लिए स्पेशली 100% पॉसिबल नहीं है, क्योंकि कोई जरूरी नहीं कि हम सारे इस हॉल में बैठे तो सारे लोग इसको देख ही रहे हैं। कुछ लोगों का दिमाग हो रहा है कि मेरी ट्रेन है 4 बजे, मुझे वहां से जाना है, मुझे घर पे ये काम है, मुझे अपने दोस्त से भी मिलना है और ये भी करना है। तो वी आर कंडक्टिंग आवर रिसर्च ऑन द ह्यूमन बीइंग, सो इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट दैट, बट ट्राई टू minimum error in experimental research. Okay, provides maximum information, it is the common, and gives opportunity for giving different aspects of the problem. It gives the platform to know the all possibility or the all aspects of the problem we are conducting our research, and this is the types of research design. Okay, like research design for exploratory research, in which we collect the informations. This is also called the formulative research studies. They intend to formulate a problem for developing a working hypothesis from an operational perspective to carry out a more precise investigations. It emphasizes discovery of ideas, insights, and considering different aspects of the problem under study. The purpose to formulate a research hypothesis, a problem, could be surveying concerned literature, reviewing hypotheses stated by the previous researchers, evaluating their usefulness for the future research, and may build upon the existing work or formulate a new relevant hypothesis. It means it explores the all possibilities in which we want to study. It develops the insight, different of ideas, and different perspective of your topic. Okay, and the purpose is to formulate a appropriate problem about your research. Okay, this is the exploratory studies. And another type of research is descriptive, which is more used by research designed for descriptive and diagnostic studies. This type of studies describe the characteristics of an individual or group, or to determine the frequency with which something occurs or its association with something else. The former are the concerned with specific predictions, narrations of the facts and individuals, or the group characteristics, and the latter are concerned with establishing association between the variables. In descriptive studies, we just describe the information, we just describe about the variables or the associations of the variables or the relationship of the variables. And in diagnostic studies, we just follow a particular idea or a particular case in which we diagnose the different informations or the different causes about a particular case. Okay, and this is the experimental design, which is more important. These are the three principles of experimental design, principles of replications, we all know that, principles of randomizations and principles of local control. These are the basic characteristics of experimental design, in which replications, it means the same results about after repeating the experiments. Principles of randomizations, which is also simple, in which randomized groups. Principles of local control, it means you must control the other variables. Okay, it is very difficult to control the other variables in experimental design, but we can.
Sir, इसको please explain कीजिए. Principle of local control. What is it?
It means we are trying to control the other variables. If we are going to conduct our study on mental health. Okay, then the other variables related to mental health we try to control, but we cannot 100% control. हम 100% कभी भी control नहीं कर सकते, but we are trying, like environment, like your history, like your sudden circumstances. बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें होती हैं जिससे कि आपका मेंटल हेल्थ क्या होता है, अफेक्ट होता है. हम उस पर एक्सपेरिमेंट करने चाह रहे हैं. हम ये चाह रहे हैं कि और जो दूसरे वेरिएबल्स हैं उसको हम कंट्रोल करें, बट इट इज वेरी
वो
डिफिकल्ट.
तो हो ही नहीं सकता सर.
100% नहीं हो सकता. वी आर ट्राई, कुछ तो कर सकते हैं.
मुझे लगता है कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते.
नहीं नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है.
मतलब इस पर्टिकुलर प्रॉब्लम को लेकर के.
मैं वही बता रहा
फॉर
हूं.
दिस पर्टिकुलर प्रॉब्लम.
किसी भी एक एक्सपेरिमेंट को जब करते हैं तो हम ये मान के चलते हैं कि जो दूसरे वेरिएबल जो उसको अफेक्ट कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, उसको हम कुछ मैनिपुलेट तो नहीं कर सकते 100%, कुछ तो कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, बट वी कैन नॉट डू 100%. कभी भी हम 100% चीजों को नहीं कर सकते. लोकल तो कर ही नहीं सकते, लेकिन बट वी आर ट्राई टू कंट्रोल. ओके, एंड दीज आर द types of experimental research, experimental design: informal, before and after without control design, after only with control design, before and after with control design. एक है without, एक है आपका with control design, और दूसरा है आपका after only control design. Especially it is related to the experimental research in which we want to control some variables. जितना हो सकता है, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि हम 100% कर सकते हैं, बट जितना हो सकता है we are trying to control. So pre-test, post-test, like before and after only with control design, and before and after with control design. ये अलग अलग डिजाइन है. एक वैरी ये अलग अलग एक्सपेरिमेंट में और अलग अलग रिसर्च में यूज किया जाता है. ये कोई जरूरी नहीं, इट इज नॉट ए कॉमन प्रोसीजर. आप इसी, yes, this is the formal completely randomized design in which we are using the random group, randomized block design, Latin square design, and factorial design. These are the formal. Before and after without control.
सर वो एक सेकंड.
मैं दे दूंगा आपको, स्लाइड पूरा दे दूंगा. It involves a single test group or area, and dependent variables is measured before introducing the treatment. जैसे मान लिया, मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल बता देता हूँ. When we are going to conduct the pre and post test design, so a treatment is given to the candidates, or a treatment is given to the experimental group. There will be two groups, control group and experimental group. One treatment is given to the experimental group, and no such treatment is given to the control group. And when we are doing our experiment, and after treatment, when we take the scores or we conduct the study, both group, control and experimental group, then this type of treatment or this type of design is used. आपने एक ग्रुप को स्पेशल ट्रीटमेंट दिया और एक ग्रुप को कोई स्पेशल ट्रीटमेंट नहीं दिया,
करेक्ट।
ठीक है। जैसे मान लिया आप
ट्रेनिंग
यहाँ
भी
पे
किसी को नहीं दी।
यहाँ पे मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल बता रहा हूँ, इतने सारे लोग बैठे, मैंने इसको दो ग्रुप बनाया, एक ग्रुप बनाया कंट्रोल ग्रुप और एक ग्रुप बनाया एक्सपेरिमेंटल ग्रुप। कंट्रोल ग्रुप को मैंने नॉर्मल टीचिंग की, कोई भी कॉन्सेप्ट पढ़ाया, कोई भी आपको एक यूनिट पढ़ाया, और एक जो ग्रुप है एक्सपेरिमेंटल ग्रुप उसको एक स्पेशल टेक्निक से पढ़ाया। पहले भी हमने टेस्ट लिया दोनों ग्रुप का, प्री टेस्ट इसको हम लोग कहते हैं, और आफ्टर गिविंग द ट्रीटमेंट फिर से हमने सेम जो क्वेश्चनायर है या सेम जो आपका टूल है वो यूज किया दोनों पे, कंट्रोल ग्रुप पे भी और एक्सपेरिमेंटल ग्रुप पे। फिर हमने आपका टेस्ट लिया, फिर आपके जो रिजल्ट आया फिर हमने उसको क्या किया, कंपेयर किया। तो ये इस टाइप का, ठीक है। आफ्टर द ट्रीटमेंट इज इंट्रोड्यूस द डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल इज अगेन मेजर्ड आफ्टर इंट्रोड्यूसिंग द ट्रीटमेंट। ओके, सो द इफेक्ट ऑफ ट्रीटमेंट इज इक्वल टू level of phenomena after treatment minus level of phenomena before treatment। जो डिफरेंस आएगा आपका आफ्टर ट्रीटमेंट वो यहाँ से
सर ये तो इफेक्ट ऑफ ट्रीटमेंट से केवल एक्सपेरिमेंटल रूप में
केवल
आएगा,
कंट्रोल नहीं आएगा, नहीं आएगा वो तो हम चेक करेंगे तब पता चलेगा।
लेकिन अगर क्योंकि हमने
कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि 100%, देखिए मैं फिर वही बता रहा हूँ, कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि जो ट्रीटमेंट दिया जा रहा है और जो इफेक्ट आएगा वो 100% केवल ट्रीटमेंट की वजह से आया, कोई जरूरी नहीं है। जब हम ग्रुप बना रहे हैं हो सकता है कोई बच्चा उसमें से पहले से होशियार है, या जो चीज आप पढ़ा रहे हैं केवल हमको टेस्ट के बेसिस पे जो स्कोर ले रहे हैं, वी स्कोर ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ द टेस्ट, ठीक है। कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि जो बच्चा आपके ग्रुप में हो वो पहले से इतना होशियार हो, या जो एक्सपेरिमेंटल ग्रुप में है वो ना सीखा हो। देयर आर सेवरल फैक्टर्स,
मतलब आप कंट्रोल ग्रुप
होता है, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि नहीं होगा, एक्सपेरिमेंट का या जो ट्रीटमेंट है उसका इफेक्ट आएगा, बट वी कैन नॉट से 100% दैट दिस effect is due to the experiment or is due to the treatment. There are several other factors which affects the dependent variables. Okay?
सर एक होशियार बच्चा पहले कंट्रोल रूम में बैठा हुआ है, तो उसकी परफॉर्मेंस तो जो हमने प्री टेस्ट किया उसमें भी पहले वही रहेगी और पोस्ट टेस्ट भी वही रहेगी, तो उसकी जो काबिलियत है
वही है कि नहीं है, पहले से जैसे मान लीजिए कि वही रहेगी,
नहीं रहेगी नहीं रहेगी वो अलग बात है।
प्री पोस्ट का मतलब ये है कि वी आर
देखिए
इफ द परफॉर्मेंस विल चेंज,
कंट्रोल को तो मिला ही रहना भाई।
नहीं मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, पहले से आपने टेस्ट ले लिया प्री टेस्ट, और ट्रीटमेंट उसको चूंकि दिया नहीं आपने, कंट्रोल ग्रुप को एक्सपेरिमेंटल ग्रुप को आपने ट्रीटमेंट दिया। मैं सिर्फ ये कह रहा हूँ कि कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि जो ट्रीटमेंट के बाद जो इफेक्ट आ रहा है वो 100% इज ड्यू टू योर एक्सपेरिमेंट और इज ड्यू टू योर ट्रीटमेंट, कोई जरूरी नहीं, रिवर्स भी हो सकता है। इसीलिए तो वी आर गोइंग टू कंडक्ट दिस, हम लोग इसीलिए तो करने जा रहे हैं। आप इसको एग्जाम्पल से इस तरीके से समझिए, एक ही दवा कई लोगों को क्या होता है इफेक्ट कर जाता है, कई
नहीं
लोगों
करता
को
है।
किसी को फीवर हुआ तो किसी को डोलो फायदे होता है, किसी को क्रोसिन, किसी को कुछ, जबकि साल सेम है। एक ही क्लास में इतने सारे लोग बैठे हैं, अभी जैसे एग्जाम होगा तो किसी के 80 आएंगे और किसी के कितने आएंगे, 60 आएंगे। सेम कंडीशन, सेम टीचर, सेम एनवायरनमेंट, सेम बुक्स आपको भी मिली है, और कहने के लिए क्या है हम लोग कि सेम क्लास में है, सेम आपको ट्रीटमेंट मिल रहा है, लेकिन सेम लेवल के हैं, लेकिन वो चीजें कई बार नहीं होती, ठीक है। कई बार आपने ये देखा होगा कि सेम एज ग्रुप का बच्चा है, सेम क्लास में पढ़ रहा है, सेम स्कूल में पढ़ रहा है, लेकिन उसकी परफॉर्मेंस जो है वो बिल्कुल ही अलग अलग। एक बच्चा बोर्ड में 90% लाता है लेकिन वो कंपटीशन में नहीं निकल पाता, और एक बच्चा जो 70% लाता है वो कंपटीशन में आ जाता है। तो दूसरे फैक्टर्स बहुत ज्यादा है। हम लोग ये कह रहे हैं कि क्लास में हम लोग बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ाई करा रहे हैं, पहले बहुत अच्छा होता था, ये होता था। अभी जो बात मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ कि जो बच्चों की परफॉर्मेंस है वो क्लास की जो एक्टिविटी है, जो भी हम लोग क्लास रूम में टीचिंग करा रहे हैं, इससे ज्यादा इफेक्ट बच्चों का पड़ रहा है जो ये मोबाइल और कंप्यूटर और लैपटॉप से देख रहे हैं बच्चे। the informations which they are getting is more than the classrooms. जो नॉलेज या जो इंफॉर्मेशन उनको मिल रही है वो ये आज की डेट में कहा जा रहा है कि मोर देन 80% जो इंफॉर्मेशन है, जो नॉलेज है, स्टूडेंट्स आर गेटिंग फ्रॉम द आउटसाइड ऑफ द क्लास। पहले ऐसा नहीं था। पहले देयर आर नो रिसोर्सेस, केवल एक बुक्स था, क्लास में आपको पढ़ना है। अब फिजिकल एक्टिविटी भी है, वो मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ, लेकिन अभी का जो सिचुएशन है वो बिल्कुल ही डिफरेंट है। सो हम ये कभी नहीं कह सकते कि जो हमने ट्रीटमेंट दिया है
completely changed.
हाँ, the effect due to the experiment or due to the treatment, ये 100% केवल ट्रीटमेंट की वजह से आया है, ऐसा वी कैन नॉट से। तो बाद में बात होगी, जैसे हम लोग, इसीलिए तो हम लोग लेवल ऑफ सिग्निफिकेंस पे बात करते हैं, 0.05, 0.01 या 0.1, कि किस लेवल पे आप अपनी बात को कह रहे हैं। कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि जो मैंने कहा वो आपने हमसे सीखा है, हो सकता है आप पहले से सीखा है, हो सकता है आपने किसी साथी से सीखा
For
है।
example, board results have gone up.
हाँ,
The
yes.
quality of the students has gone down. Because we are now marking on based on rubrics. Keywords are there, we are giving full marks.
बहुत सारे दूसरे
60% was the maximum that
Yes.
you could get.
There are several factors which affect your results and which affects your performance. There are several factors. Not only in classroom conditions or not in the, only classroom teaching learning process. There are several factors which affect the performance of the student. चाहे वो आप हो, चाहे वो स्कूल में बच्चा पढ़ रहा हो, चाहे वो यूनिवर्सिटी और कॉलेज में पढ़ रहा हो। उसके बाद भी बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स हैं, वो मैं नहीं बताऊंगा यहाँ पे, आप सब जानते हैं। ठीक है, जो कंडीशंस की बात जो हो रही है उस पर मैं नहीं जाऊंगा, क्योंकि वी ऑल नो अभी कितनी भी ट्रांसपेरेंसी की बात कर ली जाए कि बहुत ट्रांसपेरेंट एग्जाम हो रहा है, ये हो रहा, वो हो रहा, लेकिन अंदर क्या हो रहा है वे हम सब जानते हैं, मैं उस पर नहीं। तो क्या ट्रीटमेंट आपने लिया और क्या इफेक्ट पड़ा, वी कैन नॉट से 100%। ठीक, ये बहुत ही अलग इश्यू है, इस पर हम लोग भी बात करेंगे, पब्लिक में नहीं कर सकते। ठीक है, एक और डिजाइन है आफ्टर बर्निंग विद कंट्रोल डिजाइन, इसमें हम लोग केवल बाद में देखते हैं आफ्टर ट्रीटमेंट। ओके, इट इन्वॉल्व द सिलेक्शन ऑफ द टू ग्रुप्स ऑफ द एरियाज लाइक द टेस्ट एरियाज एंड द कंट्रोल एरिया, वी हैव डिस्कस्ड अबाउट इट। द ट्रीटमेंट इज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड ओनली इन द टेस्ट एरिया, केवल हम लोग एक्सपेरिमेंटल की बात करेंगे। द डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल इज मेजर्ड एंड देयर आफ्टर इन बोथ द एरिया साइमल्टेनियसली। ओके, इसमें भी वही है कि हम एक बार पहले कई एक्सपेरिमेंट में हम लोग प्री टेस्ट नहीं लेते, केवल जाके पोस्ट टेस्ट लेते हैं, स्पेशली फॉर दिस केस। और ये है बिफोर एंड आफ्टर, ये मैंने आपको बताया है कि पहले भी हम लेते हैं और फिर बाद में भी लेते हैं। तो यहाँ पे जो ट्रीटमेंट होता है या द इफेक्ट ऑफ द ट्रीटमेंट इज चेंज इन डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल इन द टेस्ट एरिया माइनस चेंज इन डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल इन कंट्रोल। There are two groups, one is control group and one is experimental group. So the effect due to the treatment or due to the experiment is change in dependent variable in the test area or the experimental group minus change in dependent area in the control. It is very simple. And this is related to the completely randomized group. It is also related to the groups. This design involves the principles of replications. It means repetition of your experiment and the same results, and randomization. When we use the randomized groups, random selection and random assignments are the two main features of this type of design. It means when we are using the random selection and when we are using the random